New Mexico's film community is reacting with caution to President Donald Trump's proposal for a 100% tariff on films produced outside the United States. Several New Mexico arts organizations have lost tens of thousands of dollars in promised funding after the National Endowment for the Arts abruptly canceled their grants. In a unanimous ruling on Monday, the New Mexico Supreme Court affirmed that state lawmakers are shielded from lawsuits over their official actions. And Albuquerque and Chihuahua, Mexico leaders reaffirmed their 55-year sister city relationship on Monday during a Cinco de Mayo ceremony. From the Albuquerque Journal, this is the leading news. I'm Gino Gutierrez. It's Tuesday, May 6th, and I'll have more on those stories in a few moments, plus a look at the weather forecast on the other side of this break.
This episode is brought to you by the Kirtland Partnership Committee. For 30 years, we've been dedicated to supporting, growing, and preserving the Kirtland National Security Complex. We work tirelessly to enhance military readiness, foster community partnerships, improve quality of life, and promote economic development right here in New Mexico. Join us in our mission to ensure that Kirtland remains a cornerstone of national security and a key provider of quality jobs and investment for all of Greater Albuquerque. Together, we can make a powerful impact. Kirtland Partnership Committee, proudly shaping the future of our national security for 30 years.
New Mexico's film community is reacting with caution to President Donald Trump's proposal for a 100% tariff on films produced outside the United States. The move, which Trump claims would protect American jobs and counter foreign incentives, could either benefit or harm New Mexico's film industry, depending on how it plays out.
Yeah, so I spoke to lots of different folks today.
My colleague Kylie Garcia is a business reporter at the Journal.
One of those was the director of the New Mexico Film Office, Steve Graham, and then the film liaison for the Albuquerque Film Office. And both of them seem to suggest that it's too early to know what a tariff on foreign-made films would look like for New Mexico. Some people think that maybe it could mean good things for New Mexico as far as, if companies are forced to kind of look local, will they look at places like New Mexico because of our tax incentive programs.
ABQ Castle Studios' Tim Pfeiffer, who also operates a studio in California, said the tariffs could give New Mexico a competitive edge over international film hubs like Canada or the United Kingdom. However, he warned that retaliatory tariffs from other countries could backfire, limiting global markets for American-made films and reducing the number of productions. New Mexico's film production numbers have already been falling from a peak of 109 projects in the fiscal year 2022 to just 62 in 2024. Industry leaders attribute the decline to global slowdowns post-COVID and the 2023 writers' strike, with more productions heading overseas. Experts like Milton Reese of the Santa Fe Community College argue that tariffs won't work in the globalized industry, where productions are often collaborative across borders. New Mexico remains a strong player thanks to its 25% base tax credit, which can increase to 40% depending on factors like rural filming or use of qualified facilities. Studio executives like Pfeiffer say the state's simple and generous incentive model is a major draw. While it's unclear how and if the tariff policy will be implemented, New Mexico's film industry is watching closely, ready to adapt, but also wary of unintended consequences. Several New Mexico arts organizations, such as the Santa Fe Art Institute, National Institute of Flamenco, AMP Concerts, and Paseo Project, have lost tens of thousands of dollars in promised funding after the National Endowment for the Arts abruptly canceled their grants. Notifications were sent late on a Friday evening, in some cases to personal emails, sparking confusion and frustration among arts leaders. The NEA attributed the cancellations to a policy shift aligning with President Trump's updated priorities, which include supporting military veterans, promoting AI, aiding Hispanic-serving institutions, and celebrating United States heritage. However, affected organizations argue their work aligns with these goals, particularly those serving Hispanic communities or promoting cultural heritage. Leaders like Takara Thomas from the Santa Fe Arts Institute and Marisol Encinas from the National Institute of Flamenco plan to appeal the decisions, with some even considering legal action. Encinas called the loss, quote, very sad, emphasizing the art's role in the community and heritage. AMP Concerts' Neil Copperman criticized the move as ideologically driven, suggesting it targets diverse artistic perspectives and undermines the original grant requirements that prioritize diversity, equity, and inclusion. While some groups like Opera Southwest and Santa Fe Pro Musica still retain their NEA support, others fear future future instability. The cancellations have raised broader concerns about censorship and the narrowing of cultural and political expression in the arts under the current administration. The NEA did not respond to media inquiries. In a unanimous ruling on Monday, the New Mexico Supreme Court affirmed that state lawmakers are shielded from lawsuits over their official actions, regardless of their motives, establishing a broad interpretation of legislative immunity under the state constitution. The decision stems from a case involving Senate President Pro Tem Mimi Stewart, who was sued by former Senator Jacob Candelaria. Candelaria alleges that Stewart retaliated against him by moving his Capitol office and Senate seat after he criticized her handling of a personal matter. A lower court had initially ruled that Stewart's motives warranted scrutiny, but the Supreme Court disagreed. Chief Justice David Thompson, writing for the court, stated that when legislative immunity applies, it precludes judicial review, emphasizing that accountability must come from voters, not the courts. The justices ordered the original complaint to be dismissed and clarified decisions involving legislative resources, such as office assignments, fall under the immunity umbrella. This marks the first time the state's highest court has formally outlined the scope of legislative immunity in the state, aligning with similar protections found in 43 other states. The ruling echoes recent national debates over executive immunity, particularly the U.S. Supreme Court's 2024 decision, which shields former presidents from prosecutions from official acts. And Albuquerque and Chihuahua leaders reaffirmed their 55-year sister city relationship on Monday during a Cinco de Mayo ceremony focused on unity, development, and cross-border collaboration. Leaders from the two cities signed a renewed agreement that outlines goals in economic growth, cultural exchange, public safety, and education. Albuquerque Mayor Tim Keller emphasized the importance of highlighting positive international partnerships, especially amid divisive rhetoric elsewhere in the United States. The relationship has already yielded practical benefits, like Albuquerque's real-time crime center, which was modeled after Chihuahua's. It incorporates technologies like license plate readers, gunshot detections, all technologies which Keller credits for helping catch violent criminals. The partnership has also included firefighter training exercise and equipment donations, according to a Mexican consul. The renewed agreement also includes concrete goals like organizing a cultural event and trade mission, developing tourism strategies, launching educational exchanges, and holding a business roundtable to spur workforce development. Urea Morales Mongon, who is a key figure in the partnership and a Mexican-American leader in economic development, was honored with a Mexicano Distinguidos, an award for her community contributions. Leaders on both sides emphasize that local cooperation is essential, especially in today's globalized world. If you like hearing all of the latest news from the Albuquerque Journal here on the Leading News, consider becoming a digital subscriber to the Albuquerque Journal. You can check our show notes for a discount code on a digital subscription and keep up with all the latest news from New Mexico's leading news source. Now taking a look at the weather forecast, rain showers are likely before noon, mostly cloudy with a high near 61. As for this evening, scattered showers mainly before midnight, mostly cloudy with a low around 39. To keep up with all the latest news from the Albuquerque Journal, you can visit our website at abqjournal.com. That's the Leading News. I'm Gino Gutierrez. We'll be back tomorrow.